And we are so glad to be here with you. And I hope that you're having an awesome Friday. And I hope that this weekend is going to be fantastic for you. I am excited tonight because we are going to be painting a photograph, from a reference that we got from one of our members. Now, dang it, Renee just told me, I think Karen Fletcher, I'm hoping I got the right member, but Karen Fletcher from Colorado, this is your photograph. So I hope that you are here with us tonight. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but it's super cool. And literally, it would kind of be really nice for me to be at least like touched a little bit by this reference photo and the atmosphere of it, because I'm in my studio and I don't have air conditioning in here and it's hot. And so I don't actually have my normal shirt on, because normally I wear like a t-shirt and then I wear another shirt over top of that, and it's just too hot to wear that. So I went with a different shirt that I got for my birthday. And anyways, so we're going to be painting this snow scene though, and it's hopefully going to bring a little bit of refreshment to us as maybe you're like me and you're like, man, it's hot, and I'd love to step outside even just for a minute and get some cold air. Anyways, welcome everybody. Brandy, hey Brandy, I actually just saw Brandy last weekend at the opening of my show. Catherine, good to see you. And of course with me is the Mr. Peter.
What's up? Hey everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Live. So great to have you all.
So awesome. We love this, you guys, and I hope that it's a fun time for you too. So here's the deal. We're going to have some fun tonight, and I'm going to get started. I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. If you have any questions, make sure you type them in the chat, and Peter will try to relay them to me so that I can answer them as I'm painting.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's hot in Puerto Rico. I can only imagine that it's hot in Puerto Rico. It's hot in Portland. Yeah, Gresham, Oregon. All right. St. Augustine, Florida. Cool. Man, I was there. That was a cool place. If I remember correctly, it kind of had this old fort right on the water there. And I remember being there at night. I was down there for a conference. And anyways, that was cool. So, hey, cool. Kurdistan. This is awesome. Arizona too. Hot Alberta. Awesome. Yeah, smoky Montana. We've got a bit of smoke in the air actually here. It's kind of like a easy cloud. And we're hoping, praying that we get some more rain, and for all of you guys that are being affected by fires, we really do. So, okay, Peter, let's switch this up.
Let's do it.
And I guess it's up to me to switch this over. I was waiting for you. Isn't that funny?
I am not in control of that.
Here we go. Okay, so, you know what I forgot to do, you guys? I have to get the reference photo up. Peter, talk to them for a second here while I get the reference photo for everybody.
All right. Catherine Hawking says, hey, Peter, glad you can join us. It's still hot in California. No smoke. No smoke in California. That's surprising. They must be having a good year as far as fires go. Johan, smoky here in Washington. It is smoky. I just went outside for a little bit. It was super smoky. Colleen Brown, howdy from Oklahoma. Welcome back from Oklahoma. Sue Pace from Southwest Michigan. Beautiful 73 degrees here. Nice. Regina Ortiz, yes, hot too here in Puerto Rico. I bet. I enjoy the heat personally, as long as I can get away from it inside while I'm working. But in general, I think I'm kind of the person that enjoys the heat.
You're an anomaly, bro. You're one of a kind, man. No, I love the heat too. Yeah. In fact, I don't normally like Renee will tell you that when I was working for a while for a guy when we lived in Indiana, the very first part of our time there, I worked for a guy who did chimneys, and I would be climbing up on okay, here we go. I finally got it, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, we're ready to go. But yeah, I would be climbing up the scaffolding, and I'd have these like big buckets, and it would be 100 degrees and high humidity, and it was just like. And I learned at that moment, I was like, you know what I have to do? I have to embrace this, or else I'm going to be miserable all summer. And so I just told myself, I love this. And I would just tell myself every day, I love this. And you know what? Mind over matter. It actually does make a difference in your attitude.
It does. It really does.
Okay. So, and Peter, you always have told me that you actually really would rather have hot stuff than cold, rainy kind of
absolutely.
stuff, right?
I was so upset. I came back from Eastern Washington a few weeks ago, and it was like 63 degrees in the middle of the day in mid-July, and I was so upset. Like, this is not okay, because I was so used to it being, 101, 103 degrees over in Spokane.
Oh man.
And
oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that I'm painting on a black canvas. Here's my colors. I've got titanium white, cadmium yellow light, cadmium orange, quinacridone red, ultramarine blue. This is a black, and this is a neutral gray. And I'm just mixing up kind of a purple color right now. Why? Because I decided to change it up and not do what I normally do, which is oftentimes I'm doing this with orange and red, and I do that sometimes because I want to have a like an interesting color. But this time I just decided to do something that's a little bit more. It's still colorful, but it's not going to have quite the same impact as red and orange when it comes through in the end. So like I think I say this quite a bit, but variety is always kind of interesting and fun. And so I'm always a fan of kind of mixing things up. Plus you just get a different look. So I'm adding a little bit more blue. Oh, let me go here.
Karen Fletcher is here.
Okay, Karen can tell us where it's from.
And she said, yeah, Lucy said, nice photo. Any idea where in Colorado it was taken? So Karen, if you could give us an answer on that, that'd be awesome. But Karen Fletcher, she said, hi from our camper at Granby Reservoir in Colorado. That is
nice.
Really cool.
Nice. That is cool.
Yeah, sure. It's absolutely gorgeous out there.
So, and you're in a camper. So this means I guess you're on the internet. Maybe you're on your computer. I was just imagining one of those campers for a second that has like a satellite dish on top.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like I make fun of myself because like of my coffee drinking. Like I call it coffee, but like in reality, like what I drink is really like, it'd be a stretch to call it coffee. It's like, does it have coffee in it? Yes, it does. But is it coffee? Well, it's kind of the same thing. Some people would look at the really, really nice RVs and motorhomes and campers, and they'd say, is that camping? Like, is that you've got a satellite dish and you've got like a, king size bed in there. Is that camping?
Yep.
Hey, if I had one of those RVs, I would definitely be using it.
That's how Jonelle and her family always camp is with an RV, and I always tease her for it because I've camped with a tent my entire life.
I know. But I tell you what, dude,
and like a shower. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. It's deluxe, man, right? Like if you're used to sleeping on the ground, like the thing that changed things for me was like the minute we got a little pop-up camper for a while when we were living in Indiana, and like just not being on the direct ground, that was that was a huge change. And once you go and you do that, you're like, I don't think I want to sleep on the ground anymore. It's kind of hard to go back. Okay, I'm putting in the shadows here. Like I'm just kind of working around. Again, if you have questions or anything like that, make sure to shout it out. I'm
absolutely.
super pumped.
Someone asked what size canvas you're working on.
This is a 12 by 16 canvas. You see, you can always measure with your forearm. And if it goes from about this to your elbow, I'm just joking. That's just me saying stuff that's silly. But yeah, it is. See, it's one forearm by a forearm and half a hand. That's how big it is, which means in layman's terms, it's 12 by 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Isn't that
Sure.
the standard? Isn't that the standard way that we measure? I always like that about horses. Horses are kind of like that, right? It's 17 and a half hands. Oh, cool. What's that? I have no idea. It's big. That's all I know.
Terry asks, what do you paint your black canvases with? By hand, spray paint?
Yeah, by hand. And I use this right here. This is golden black gesso.
Golden black gesso.
Yep. Most of the time it's just that. In fact, this was a painting that I had some texture on, and I had done it. I'd done a demo on there before, and it wasn't like a finished painting or anything, so I just painted over it. So that's what I like about black gesso is it really does enable you to do stuff like that pretty easily. So we all like to get the most out of our canvas.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sure. Kalika asks, why do you prefer black?
Hey, anybody out there listen to Johnny Cash? I'm the man in black. Anybody know that? Oh man. So it's kind of that I do like painting on it. It's fun. It's also because I'm so used to it. It's probably one of the easiest ways for me to paint. And when I'm painting on Friday night, I don't want to have to think too hard. It's already going to be a little bit complicated just because I'm trying to make sure that I'm coherent in my speech as I'm painting. But so there's like just kind of like a comfort in it, but there's also a part where like we know that there's like this nice sunny scene up here coming through, and if I paint on black, I'm going to control everywhere that there's light in this painting. Yeah. It's not going to be, there's no like light highlights that are going to show up anywhere unless I make them show up. So that's the other reason. And the third reason is because I feel like I was like a black canvas, just lifeless, dead, hopeless, addicted, struggling big time. And I feel like God kind of started painting a scene in my life and brought color and form and I look at my life now and I'm like, wow, how did this happen to me? And it's not because of me doing anything good or, like that. It's really like somebody else started doing something in my life, on my life. And so that's like, it's kind of like this is, I don't know how to describe that, but that's the other reason is it's more of like a theoretical or I don't know, whatever. I've used a different word before for it that made sense, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, for me, I don't like starting on white. It feels intimidating and weird, and yeah, I don't like how like everywhere is bright, so you have to darken everything kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually start
on
like
a lot of work actually.
It does. I usually start on like 50% gray.
Do you?
I like I like 50% gray.
I do too. Yeah. So that's cool. I didn't know that you did that with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You go with that makes sense though. I mean, I just have never seen one of your pieces from the start.
Yeah.
Why did you laugh at that?
No, just because I'm keeping them private for the time being, mostly.
Yeah, Peter, you should pull up sometime some of your paintings that you're doing. Peter, I think we talked about this before, but Peter's doing a lot of digital painting, and it's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
You could share some of it.
Catherine Hawking asks, what size brush is Jed using?
Okay, so I've got a number. Let's see, this is a number 6. It's got paint on it. It's harder and harder for you to see, for me to see what number. And this is a number 10. So some of the stuff I'm going with a number 6, but you can see I'm not always just going like this. Sometimes I'm using it this way. And I think that for your guys' sake, I kind of need to bring some more color and light into this, or else it looks just terribly dull and lifeless. So I'm going to do that right now. I think one of the things that happens in this kind of session is where I know I'm going, I can probably kind of like live with some of the boring nature of it, because I know that I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring, but it probably doesn't really help you guys have an understanding, because almost all that I do initially is really dark. If I'm not paying attention to it, I should say. So I also just would say that a lot of times in the shadows, a lot of times people will ask, like, how do you mix your shadow colors, or what do you do with that? And there's kind of like a thought that if your light is warm, then your shadows should be cool. If your light is cool, then your shadows should be warm. So, but one of the other principles that I always try to work with is just to add variety and make things kind of interesting. And so I'm trying to add some variety into these shadows as I'm going. Wasn't it fun last week to have Diana on?
That was. Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed that too.
Yeah, that
seeing
was really
the paintings progress. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So different, right?
Catherine Howell asks, what do you have your paints in?
Okay, this is just a good question, by the way. This is a bead box. I've got a couple different kinds that I use for different things. This one is like what you see here. It's small. It's a little snap down thing. This button right here on the end allows you to open it or close it. And then I've got some bigger ones like this, which I use also at different times, like for different, if I'm painting on a bigger painting, sometimes I'll use this. But what's nice about them is they hold a lot of paint, and it keeps it pretty wet. Don't have to use too much paint often. What I mean is, if you squeeze paint out on your canvas, sometimes it goes bad on you and you end up wasting it. In this case, you can kind of keep using this through many sessions, and it doesn't really go bad. But we're going to accentuate this place in the tree that has the sun coming behind it. So I'm just going to add some really bright, vibrant color there. Like, I'm just going straight with, I had some cadmium orange and a little bit of other color on there, but I'm really just now kind of bringing in a lot of the quinacridone red. And I'm going to clean out my other smaller brush real quick, and I'm going to come back with some, this is the cadmium yellow light, and I'm going to just try to put some boldly in right here, because that's going to be kind of where the sun ends up coming through the most. And this is actually some of what we're going to talk about in the masterclass that's coming up. I'm going to show you guys. Some of you have seen some of this before, but we're going to go into a lot of depth, and we're going to have some really cool exercises and stuff like that to work on. And
yes, we are.
That's coming up in September. You really need to mark your calendar for it, because even if you can't be there live during the live sessions that happen, you can catch them all after the fact for a short amount of time. So basically the live sessions, we're going to have live sessions from September 13th through the 17th. And then we're going to keep the group open. We're going to do some more things. We're going to have live interviews. And this is coinciding with the opening of Acrylic University. We're going to open the membership up again, which we will do here. And then we won't do it again until January. Just on our site, we won't have any real enrollment. So this is that extra 4 days or whatever is kind of like, we're going to be doing some interviews. We're going to be doing some cool stuff, but you'll be able to access all the content until the end of that on the 20th, which is just to say, mark your calendars, make sure that you're a part of that, because it's going to be super fun. We're going to give away some dang awesome prizes.
And it's totally free. So
it's totally free.
Totally free to sign up for. So,
and really the idea behind it is we want to give you a picture of what Acrylic University is. If you're a member already, it's going to be super fun. I mean, for you guys, it's going to be awesome, because it's just kind of like a bonus, really, because it's going to be fun. And but if you're not familiar with Acrylic University, it's going to be a bit of a chance to see what we're about and experience something before you make the commitment to be part of us, because you will want to be a part of us. I guarantee 100%. You. I guarantee you, man. We're going to have so much fun. And we are giving away, dang, what are the prizes, Peter? Do you remember?
Yeah, we're giving away $500 gift card, an iPad, and some other stuff. So
some of the other stuff is a plein air easel that is like really good for acrylic painting. You can use it with other mediums, but I got it specifically because I wanted to offer it to those of you and me who like the idea of painting outside, but are often like looking for a good solution. And while I've never actually used this easel myself yet, we've gotten good recommendations from people like Brian Buckrell, who we interviewed recently, and this is what he uses. And I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to give this one away. So we got that. And we're going to have some other stuff that we give away kind of spur of the moment, like books. And then there's going to be one other prize, and I haven't decided what the prize is, but this is for you guys, members. I'm going to just say this to you. This is your chance to, if you invite people, there's a little place on there for them to say who brought them. And if you are the person who brought them, your name is going to be put into a totally separate giveaway that's going to happen like the first day. It'll be like, but it's going to be cool.
Yep.
It's going to be worth your effort.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. And then somebody asks, can you give a list of supplies for that session ahead of time?
Yes, we totally are going to.
Yeah, we're going to update that page with supplies probably.
Well, the thing is that we're actually,
or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna get a dashboard that's gonna be ready. The dashboard's gonna have everything that you need.
Yep.
Like it's going to be your go-to place for everything. And in the meantime, because I do realize that it might take us another couple weeks to get the dashboard fully ready. We're going to put up a secondary, like a simple page that will have some of the like the essential stuff that you need. And we'll definitely let everybody know when that is available.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you are, there's a list on this, isn't there, Peter? On this, like on this stream on YouTube.
Yeah, below
If you have
the
the list that's on this stream, it's going to be basically the list that you need for the other. Just so you know, there's hardly a difference. There might be a little bit of difference, but not if you have like the basic painting supplies that are listed there. You're going to be in good shape, at least to start with.
Absolutely. Sandra Willoughby asks, what do we have to do to renew our membership when our year is up?
Well, you don't have to do anything technically. You just have to let it go, because it'll actually automatically, unless you paid in some way that is outside of the norm. Like normally what you do is you are on the website and you just have inserted a credit card. And if you've paid for a year, it will automatically come back and bill you when your membership is about to be renewed. And you also are hopefully going to get an email before that would ever happen that says, hey, you've got, this is your last month or something like that. And you should.
If it gets canceled or something and you didn't want that to happen, just send an email to hello@acrylicuniversity.com or peter@acrylicuniversity.com or support@acrylicuniversity.com. Yeah. And we'll
just don't send it to
right
jed@acrylicuniversity.com because
you never check it.
I probably won't get back. No, actually, you send it to me and Renee will get back to you. That's the truth. Oh, I'll get back to you sometimes, but
Lisa Raymer says not to be a downer, but a list would be needed a few weeks ahead of time as I have to order supplies online. It all takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try and do something for you. Maybe send out an email or something.
Like I said, you can go on if you want a list tonight, just look on what do you call it? The section on YouTube. The description. The description on YouTube for tonight's video. And if you have those supplies, in terms of painting supplies, you will be just fine. Like no joke, you might say to me later, well, I didn't have like this one color, but pretty much if you have these colors right here, plus phthalo blue, you're going to be totally fine. If you have a few, canvases that are like size 12 by 16 or even like 6 by 6, or, that part is actually going to be more up to you, like what you feel you could do in like an amount of time. I would definitely have some smaller ones, and maybe a couple bigger ones, but not like, when I say bigger, I mean 12 by 16 or maybe 16 by 20 at the biggest, but I wouldn't really ever recommend going bigger than that for what we're doing. If you have that stuff, you're going to be good.
Yeah, you're going to be all set for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast though. I'm so excited about it. You guys can't even imagine how excited I am, because I've been working on it for quite a while and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So Joan Bennett says, I'm going to be fly fishing, so most of my pictures will probably be fish.
Cool.
Joan says, I hope so. We're also supposed to see lots of bears. That's awesome.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I bumped into a bear while we were camping, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about that?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, well, I went down to fish down by the dock, and I waded out kind of to the left of the dock a ways,
Oh, really?
and I heard like snapping branches behind me, and I turn around, and a black bear drops out of the tree that I
Oh
just
my,
walked under.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, like 15, 20 feet away.
Whoa.
And then it runs past my camera and my flip-flops that I left on shore, and then runs up another tree and hides there for a bit.
Seriously?
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was thinking to myself, I'm really glad I didn't have a fish on the line or in my hands. Glad I didn't
Because
catch
it would have
anything.
come after you with wanting the fish, you're saying? Is that what you're
Maybe.
saying?
I don't know if they're that aggressive, but at the same time, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just best to like not have anything extra tempting for them
Yeah,
or
exactly.
be extra alarming or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's crazy. I did not know that at all, man.
Yeah, no, it was insane. They had lots of cougar and bear sightings that year at the campsite, like most they've ever had because of the heat, because they
Really?
come down to the water and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Because they're not getting like their mountain streams or something like that,
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that. And then also one of the owner of the resort was saying that because of the heat, a lot of the rabbits and stuff are hiding, so they have to go further to look for food.
Oh, how interesting, man.
It's very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Well,
we oh go ahead.
no, I'm done.
We had to keep our food in we actually had to keep it in the car if we weren't there um because of how much bear activity. They didn't want them to wander into people's campsites, so we had to keep the food all locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've I've heard of that before and read signs like that at different places where we've been, but it's never been we don't normally camp where there's a lot of bears, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've actually had that myself so much, but we've had it with raccoons. Raccoons are like the things that have gotten into our stuff at night. You're sitting around sleeping, and then you hear a big racket and things breaking, and raccoons are in there. But
Yeah.
I think we have actually stayed some places where they warned about the bears, but I never actually saw any.
Mary Ann Cosgrove asks, at this point in the painting, do you already have the finished look in your head, or does it evolve as you paint?
Let's see, so I should pull that back down. Do I know what it's going to look like?
Yeah.
In a rough way. Like I know kind of what I'm going for, but I feel like art to me feels a little bit like a relationship where you there's kind of a back and forth and a give and take, and you just kind of are, let's see what I just did that, right? Like, now what is the painting saying back to me? That's a little bit of what it feels like. So it's like I will do something, I initiate something, and then I kind of look to see what did it do and how did everything respond. So I don't know if that's a really good answer, but it's probably a pretty accurate description of how I look at it. It's like I have a general idea, but it's definitely not fully realized in my head. Like, I know my dad has a friend, and from what I have gained from talking to him, it sounds kind of like he has a very, very vivid image in his brain that he has from the time he starts painting. And he's just basically like painting the image that he sees in his head.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm not like that really at all. Like I'm looking at the reference photo and I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Like, what should I be bringing out in the painting?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more looking to change a few things or highlight a few things, and I don't always know what will happen because I'm not looking at the finished product. Like, it sounds almost like he's looking at a finished product in his head, and I'm just thinking, like, I'm looking at the reference and I'm thinking, I wonder what would happen if, that kind of thought. Good question.
Karen Fletcher says, a couple years ago, we saw a huge mountain lion less than a mile away from where this photo was taken.
Yeah, I can imagine that. One of my good friends, we were visiting his parents a number of years ago, and he had some good stories about mountain lions on their property. They have a ranch, I guess you could call it a ranch. It's near the Rocky Mountains in Canada. And yeah, I think that if I was choosing what would I want to see in terms of like being, or what would I not want to see, I think I'd probably rather see a bear than a mountain lion in the wild, because I feel like mountain lions seem a little bit sneakier to me. Stuff like that. Not that they're more dangerous. It's just that, is anybody with me on that? Like,
I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd much rather see a black bear than a mountain lion. Mountain lions are sneaky and kind of vicious.
that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd rather see a black bear than a
Yeah.
mountain lion. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
I know. And I feel like part of that's been, we used to live in Vancouver, BC, and Vancouver Island is like really bad for mountain lion attacks. I think I remember reading something like 90% of the deaths from mountain lions have occurred on Vancouver Island. And it's just probably the way that like the habitats have been so closely intertwined for these years. But I don't know. It's always made me not really want to see a mountain lion. And plus, I think the thing that's scary is you don't see mountain lions. Like, I mean, that's the point, is like, yeah, if you see one, I don't know if that is good or bad. I mean, maybe if you see it, it's better than not seeing it, because it sees you.
Yeah. Well, they have that that big cat instinct where, if you turn your back on it or it sneaks up behind you,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just terrifying.
I know. I always get confused too with bears. It's like your tactics are supposed to, we talked about this before, I think, when I painted that scene from Glacier National Park. I don't know if you remember that, but
yeah, I do.
I think we had this conversation back then, because I was like, I always forget, if it's a grizzly, you're supposed to like do one thing. If it's a black bear, you're supposed to do something else, and they're not really related. Like, one is walk away slowly, one is play dead. And like you don't want to get them mixed up, because one of them will still eat you if you're playing dead, basically. But I can't remember which one's which. It's just like CPR. It's the kind of stuff that I think they've changed some of the rules about it now, but I always have a general notion of what to do in situations, but I can't remember the specifics, and it's always like, should probably do a better job of remembering some of the specifics.
Yeah, but a grizzlies are another story. Those things are nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a bunch of people are saying they'd rather see a mountain lion than or rather a bear than a mountain lion.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not too crazy with that.
Yeah.
It's always the way that I've felt. But what about has anybody ever really seen a bobcat or a lynx or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine that's pretty rare, but I never have, except one time where was that? I think I was up in Canada at some park. We were at a park that we were there for a family reunion, and I saw something, and I think it was actually a badger or a wolverine. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it, and I saw it like quite clearly, but it was a little ways away, so it was hard to, kind of like see exactly what it was. But it's like it was something. It was like one of those things. It was either a bobcat, a wolverine, or a badger. And I know that sound, but all I know is it was not a skunk. It was not a cat. It was nothing like that, right? It was like a wild animal that was not a bear, a mountain lion. It wasn't a small raccoon. It was like, that was the closest I've ever come to something like that, though.
Barbara Hall says, yes, bobcat walking through the backyard once. I immediately thought of my cats.
Oh, yeah.
Leslie, lots of bobcats in Scottsdale near my house. Wow.
Really? Oh, interesting. That's not where I ever would have like guessed there'd be a lot of bobcats.
Holy cow. Brandy Reno, we've had bobcats in the neighborhood and in the yard chasing our chickens in Redmond, Washington.
Seriously?
I guess so.
That is really interesting. Wow. I would be so curious to like see one, or man, that's I like honestly would never have guessed that there was a bobcat, especially that. I mean, I guess Redmond is kind of close, like, you get to like Cougar Mountain and some of those places and that are pretty close by.
Yeah.
But my sister used to claim for many years, I'm sure she still claims it, that she saw a cougar right here on the island where we live.
Wow.
Yeah. And there were several sightings like around the same time, like where people said or reported certain, like sightings. And then one time, even like a year, it wasn't that long ago. I feel like it was within the last few years. I'm pretty sure somebody said they saw a bear swimming in the channel, like between us and the mainland, which is pretty weird.
That was pretty weird.
Yeah. You got to kind of wonder, like, if you're an animal, how do you know where to be and not be? I mean, besides like you just, like, if you're just like, say you were born and you're there's 3 of you cubs and your brother goes one direction and your sister goes another direction and you go another direction, like, how do you know where to go?
I know.
How do you know you're not headed towards people or somewhere where you're not really supposed to be? I'm sure in their eyes, there's nowhere that they're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Peter, could you do me a favor? Do you have something to say? You say what you're going to say. I've got something to ask you.
I was going to read a comment.
Okay.
Well, Doug Greenman says, in the last 100 years, there have been 27 reports of fatal mountain lion attacks. Around 3 people die each year from bear attacks on average. On average, 15 people die yearly from dog attacks.
Whoa. Wait, can you read those numbers one more time? Because
yeah, so in the past 100 years, there have been 27 reports of fatal mountain lion attacks. 3 people die each year from bear attacks, and on average, 15 people die a year from dog attacks.
Wow. So you're saying for sure we actually shouldn't be that scared of mountain lions.
Yeah.
We should definitely be more afraid of bears than we are mountain lions. And then
Much
the
more afraid
reality
of
is like
dogs.
we really should be afraid of dogs because
Yeah. However, I'd be curious if you did like, okay, so that many black bear attacks per year or bear attacks. So then how many bears are there? Then it's like a per capita thing.
like how many dogs come into contact with humans versus how many
Yeah.
bears come in
Well, because I
contact with
mean,
humans
millions
and
of
that kind
dogs
of
come
thing.
into contact with humans
Yeah,
every
yeah,
year.
yeah.
So then
And there
maybe
are
per
some pretty
capita bears
nasty
are
dogs
deadlier.
too.
There are, yeah. Judy Weber says, Doug, how many people die from spousal attacks?
Oh man.
But what were you gonna ask me, Jen?
I was gonna ask, could you do me a favor and could you put a screen together on your computer that says that would say what they need to do to win a book? Because I would like to give away a book.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah,
And I was
sure.
just thinking you could give them that number to call while I'm sitting here
Text,
doing
actually.
this.
Don't call the number.
What? Not text.
Yeah.
Don't call the number won't answer anyways if you do. So
Yeah.
I think you'll get a voicemail from me though. At least it's that responsive. I think I just say, please don't call this number. Text me back. Let's add a little tree over here, get a little bit of interest. Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, guys, I'll show you how to sign up for the giveaway here in just a second if community will load.
Uh-oh. Guys, isn't Peter awesome? Man, what a guy.
Oh, thanks, Jed.
What a guy. I am so thankful and so blessed. I said this morning to Renee and Peter, and we have some other team members that are helping us with different things, and it's just been so amazing. I just love the people that I get to work with. It's so awesome.
Me too.
That was one of those leading comments of mine where I was just hoping you would say something nice in return.
I did. I said I also enjoy working
I
with the people.
I know. That's what
Yeah.
made me feel so good.
I'm so happy for you, Jed.
Dude.
Okay, so I was able to pull community up on Edge, so we'll do that, and then
Okay.
I'll get a thing set up here.
You don't need to. You don't need to get anything set up.
No, he said make a thing on my screen.
Oh, on your screen. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Text WIN to 425-310-4182 right now to be eligible to win a book. And where's that book? There, I got to grab a copy of this for you guys so you can see that this is the book I'm talking about right here, The Artist's Guide to Create with Freedom. This is 10 strategies for overcoming fear and unleashing creative confidence. It's a great little book. It's kind of like a booklet, really. It's not, you're not going to get this one because I got a bunch of names and stuff in here. This is one I took through and I was like making notes in and stuff like that. But you would get one just like it. And
it's got some decent length to it.
Yeah. It's got, what'd you say? It's got some decent what?
It's got some decent length to it.
Oh, yeah. It's like, 86 pages or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many, but it's not a novel. It's very, we try to keep it kind of practical and helpful in terms of, it's like actionable things. Anyways, love to get it into your hands if you want to go in on that. Text that number.
Yep. So be sure to text that number. I will hide that for now. Maybe I'll pull it out again later. But
yeah, I guess you could probably type it in the chat too if we needed to or something like that. Now I'm just kind of bringing out some of that snow in the background trees. I always like seeing how just a few marks can make such a difference. Isn't it interesting how that is? I hope you guys are all doing great, man, and staying healthy and everything like that. It's been a good summer for us. We've had a good time. We've been able to go on a couple trips and went to my nephew's wedding. I'm still on my way to North Carolina coming up pretty soon. And so that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. And let's see. Come up here a little tiny bit. That's not really the color I want though up there. I want something that's a little bit more sunny looking because that sun is coming over the top and hitting those trees. So I added a little bit of orange to that. It's kind of just a grayish color now, but hopefully it'll get the feeling of some sunlight.
Marianne Cosgrove says, recently entered a plein air event in California and heard your voice in my head the entire time. Thank you.
What was it saying? I hope my voice was saying good things, like things that were helpful.
I'm sure it was. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be thanking you or thanking you.
I would be curious to know what it was saying though, for real, because I feel like I've had people say that to me before, and I'm like, well, what were you hearing from me at that moment? Like, I'm hoping it was stuff like have fun, relax, like, I don't know, be courageous, that kind of thing.
Dennis Redmond asks, where in North Carolina?
Asheville. Going to Asheville, North Carolina.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually want to take out that top this little start of a bigger tree up there was not working with where I put that. If I'd moved this tree over a little bit, it would have worked, but it's too late for that. So maybe I'll just put in another small tree. just for fun. So how do you guys like the 5 o'clock start for these? Because it's been kind of nice for us, to be honest about it. But I also know, like, for some people, it might not be quite as nice. We're hoping that it's more accommodating for more people. But
Yeah,
would love to hear your feedback, because we're always trying to do what's best for you all as much as we can.
I'll be right back, Jed. I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay. So I'm going to have to carry the conversation all by my lonesome. Yes, you can get them at the dollar store. Wolverines are making a comeback. Cool. Is it a 7-day pill box? Oh, that's what that question was. It is not a 7-day pill box. It is a, what I'm using is a bead box from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I got it actually. I found it at both places. It's similar to a 7-day pill box, but it's just got larger containers, which I prefer, but you may not need as much paint, and you might like the smaller bead or pill box. The 5-star is way better. Okay, Joan, good, I'm glad. Yes, like, okay, cool. Either time, like the 5 p.m. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's good in general. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna kind of bring in a little bit more color in a more rapid way here, because I'm just looking at it and thinking, you know, I feel like we could just be a little bit more bold. Sometimes you just have to get a bigger brush in your hand and just do something. I know that sometimes this isn't the way that you even may want to paint. Some people would not like this, but for me, every once in a while, I step back and I kind of look at a painting and I think it needs a little bit more than a small change. It needs something kind of bigger done, and it'll be a lot faster for me to see whether I like the change if I just get out a big brush and do it, rather than just kind of little tiny things over and over. And I kind of had this feeling when I was stepping back and looking at this that there could be some more light in like that general range. Like, it's fairly dark well, it kind of depends on what screen I'm looking at, but it feels like it was not as dark as what I had it. And so that's why I kind of like what I'm doing now, because I feel like it's bringing a little bit more of an accurate feel to this, even though it might mean I have to redo a couple things. I think the general kind of a little bit lighter is good there. Oh, Naomi, glad you're here. Oh, thanks, Susan. I just see your comment saying that the painting looks alive, and I'm glad. It's definitely, one thing that I've found every once in a while with myself is I go through little seasons, and sometimes I'll paint with more conservative colors, like a little bit less. That's funny. I just made myself laugh because that almost sounded like a political statement, which it wasn't. It was just saying like instead of like being very bold colors, like kind of like colorful, it's like a little bit more subdued and a little bit less imaginative. And then I'll go in seasons where I'm like, and it's not always, it doesn't feel like a big decision. Like tonight, I think I'm making some decisions that are a little bit more colorful. And I don't necessarily feel like I started out thinking, I'm going to like really try to like make some more colorful, decisions or brush marks or anything like that. It's just, sometimes it just happens, I guess. And I don't know exactly why, but it's kind of fun. I like color, and I like trying to be a little bit more bold. So maybe I should try to. Oh, cool! There he is.
Yep.
I have returned.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Peter, do you want to flash that that number one more time, and then we can pick somebody? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. There we go.
So make sure you text that when. It's funny. This actually kind of cracks me up. I'm sure that there's somebody listening right now tonight who's with us that has done this. I'm almost positive, because like quite a few people I realize do this. I send out these texts that say, "Hey, I'm going live," and what often happens is I'll just almost like immediately I'll get some responses that say, "When."
Oh yeah.
People just know that I'm maybe going to give something away. They're hoping I'm going to give something away, right? Like hopefully the painting or whatever. And they'll just type back "when." And I don't even think that they're necessarily watching. They're just throwing out their. Isn't that funny, man?
Yeah. That does come with offering giveaways.
It does. So I'm kind of like now just messing around a little bit with, what if I change this sky to being more of a warm color? Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work. We'll see right now what we think in a little bit. Sometimes I also, if I'm doing this kind of thing, I'm looking at the design and the shape of the branches and stuff, and thanks Peter for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'll like delete branches and things just because. Ooh, look at that. You can't see how thick that is maybe, but that's some thick paint right there. Somebody's texting me, but it's not the number that you're supposed to be texting me. If it's you, if you can hear this, it means you're watching. Sorry, didn't mean to whistle into the microphone. Okay.
Okay, I was really confused there for a second because there was only like 3 wins, like 3 people texting in that showed up, and then I just had to refresh the page, and there's a ton.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay, let's see. Boy, I don't know if I like that or not. I'm not sure if I like the warmer color up there, but I'm just gonna leave it for now. Okay, you got somebody for us?
yeah, I'm texting them right now.
Okay, nice. Ah, it was somebody. That's too funny. Somebody texted me directly. It said, "Hey, win, pick me." And so I'm not going to say your name, but we're texting not the number that Peter put up on there. So I'm sorry. It didn't register you unless you redid it and went to that number. See, the thing is, guys, I'm just going to tell you something. I can't send texts to the amount of people that I would like to through my own personal number. There are some people who do know my own personal number, but the number that we use for these contests is not that exact number. I still am able to respond to text and interact, but it's not the one that I would normally have, like, because I don't know if that makes sense, but a normal phone cannot do the things that I need the texting service to do.
All right, we have our winner.
Okay.
Yeah, so our winner for tonight's book is Marianne Ferrado. I think that's how you pronounce your last name. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but congratulations on winning the book for tonight.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
The painting looks great, Jed.
Does it? Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, isn't it? It's like taking the colors that are in the scene and then exaggerating them. Warming things up. So, Peter, what else should we do? We've got a few more minutes here. What could we do that would be fun? Is there anything else that we could give away? Anything else that we could, like, just as a bonus, like just to say, hey, what a free trip to Disney World. How awesome. Okay, not tonight. Sure. Not tonight. We'll do that one another time. Free trip to Disney World is I shouldn't say it. We'll do that another time, meaning like maybe in 100 years. Yeah, I know. Exactly. It's the, Jed, why do you keep saying funny, weird things? That's a problem I have. I probably told you this one time, but so, I used to not talk very much. Like, honestly, when I was growing up, I did not talk that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it is because the family I grew up in had a number of talkers, right? Like, so, if you're in a family that's got a lot of people who like to talk, like sometimes there's just not enough space kind of in the airwaves for everybody, right? To have a lot of time to talk. So I think it was partly that. And I think it was partly just like my personality. Like, I don't know. I think sometimes you just kind of like I remember in high school or even maybe younger, taking a personality test and it coming up saying, oh, you're an introvert and this blah, 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 blah about you. And you just kind of look at it and you go like, oh, okay, that's who I am. And that's what I'll be. Right. And, it wasn't until much later. I remember in college, I was like, you know what? I'm not an introvert. I like being around people and I get more energy from being around people. And I finally realized that, right? And now I'm sure that if you talk to Willow or Renee, they would be like, boy, we kind of long for the days when Jed didn't talk so much.
I like talkative, Jed, because I'm also talkative.
I like talking, but I actually am, it's good to, I had one of my best compliments was the other night. I was driving home with a friend from an event and I was intentionally trying to ask him some questions because I wanted to I work on that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like you don't just change, you actually have to realize where you're weak and then intentionally try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the coolest compliment from him because he said, Jed, you're really good at asking questions. And I was like, no, I'm not, man. But thank you, because I am working on it. But that was cool. Like to have, because I tend to be more of a talker than a listener. So.
Yeah, I used to think I was introverted as well. And then when I actually had I don't know, a goal or something to work towards or more of I don't know. I mean, my parents just historically haven't, they've kind of been homebodies. And so
Yeah.
I feel like growing up, I was just kind of like, oh, well, that's the way I am too. But then when I actually had something to do and get out and achieve and talk to people and all that stuff, then I was like, I actually really enjoy this.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? Because we're all, and I'm sure it works the other way too. Like where, maybe you have a parent who is very extroverted and wants to, talk to a lot of people. And the child is actually quite introverted and is like, I just want to go home and be quiet, and, it's cool to think and know there's nothing that's actually the way that you are, and it's good. It's right. It's good. There's nothing that's better or worse in terms of whether you like to get energy from being with people or not.
For sure.
How you're made.
The world needs a bunch of both.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm glad you are the way you are, Peter.
Thanks, Jed. And vice versa.
Ah, there he did it again.
I did.
Hey, this is I don't know if we should charge money for this, but I feel like this is almost like a therapy session. Do you think that we're a qualified therapist, Peter?
No.
Oh.
No.
You don't? Oh,
I
bummer.
mean, I think art can be therapeutic, but I also know I would not claim
Peter,
to be a therapist.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry that you have to actually respond with some sense of gravity and be like, nope, Jed, you're going to get us in big trouble here.
There has been, yeah. Yep.
I'm sure that there's been some bad things that have happened from people saying stupid things. Yeah, you got to have a sense of humor. It's actually, that leadership. Have you been listening to that leadership podcast that we were talking about? Have you?
Yeah.
Have you heard him talk about how he values humor so much?
I have not gone that far, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Because he actually said that when they're looking to hire in their organization, that's actually something that they filter people based on if they have a good sense of humor. Because it's such a high value for him to
Yeah.
be in a workplace with people that won't take everything super, super seriously.
For sure.
Yeah, I just thought isn't that kind of an interesting thing? I would never in my life ever have thought probably about like filtering job applicants by whether they have a good sense of humor.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense though. I mean, like,
Totally does. Totally makes sense. Because you have to
just
live
that,
with them.
for sure. And that energy is really important when you're working with people that closely, I think.
Totally. So Peter, what is one thing that you are like excited about in your like I want to say outside of work, just one thing that's like, because I know that there's plenty of things inside of work.
Yeah.
No, but for real, like what's one thing that you're either looking forward to or that you're, kind of excited about?
Yeah. Well, I am excited to be, well, honestly, for a lot of things. I'm excited to be learning how to like paint, like teaching myself how to paint and draw. I really enjoy that. I can feel like when I start painting or drawing, I can feel all the stress just like melt out of my body.
Really?
Yeah. Like
Dude, that's cool.
super tangibly. Yeah. Um, and so I'm excited for that. I'm excited that it's summer to be outside, and I went skating again yesterday, which is really fun.
Nice.
I'm excited for just life, honestly. In my YouTube channel, I like doing all kinds of fun, different film stuff on the side. Like, I don't know if I told you, but a long time ago when I was way younger, I created this tabletop role-playing game. And
you did tell me, with your brother.
yeah, with my brother. And yeah, we made rules and map and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to make a video kind of going over it and kind of showing it to people and explaining it and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
I just like making little videos and films about stuff.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What about your trip? You're going on a trip here pretty soon, aren't you? Or did that just happen? Wait.
Yeah, we just went camping.
Another trip coming though, but you've got another one coming.
Yeah, I do. 28th to the 1st or something like that.
Yeah. You're looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love camping. And Jonelle was able to get the time off, which is good for her because it was really stressing her out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that wasn't a for sure thing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, is Jonelle, does she watch this anymore?
No, usually no, because her working hours kind of change a little bit. So she works later.
I'm gonna follow up with her because I want to know if that's a legit reason.
It is, I think.
Well, I feel pretty sad about that. Maybe we can work on her work schedule. Oh, we could do this at an off hour when she's off. Just to make sure that she can join us.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I think I'm about done here, you guys.
Yeah, it looks really good.
As my father-in-law, Willard, I don't know if you're watching, but you taught me this, so I'm just saying it. As you taught me, he'd say, "Good enough for the girls I go with." Oh, I love that statement. Just too funny. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I feel pretty decent about this. A couple things that I'd probably, if I had more time, I'll probably do a couple things to make a little bit of nuance. Things like this little line right here comes down and it doesn't really have a shadow that goes with it. So I'd probably bring down a little bit of dark right there and then do that. But like I say, I think we're okay for right now. And I'm going to turn on this light because it's a little easier to see if that light's on. Anyways, guys, we love you. We believe
do.
in you. We are so thankful for you. And I hope that tonight was a fun night for you. I hope that you had a good time. And I hope that it was an encouragement to kick off the weekend. Peter, what do you want to say?
I don't think there's anything I really want to say except make sure you sign up for the Radiant Acrylic Masterclass if you haven't already. It's going to be amazing. You don't want to miss it. And I think that's it.
AcrylicUniversity.com. That's all you need to do is go to AcrylicUniversity.com. There's a link right there on that homepage that will take you to the registration page. Super easy to sign up for, and it's free. It's going to be awesome. We love you guys. Free. Thank you for sharing Friday night with us, and we'll see you next week.
With Diana. Diana will be here next week with us too.
Diana will be back.
All right. Good night, everybody.